Linda. Pinky Moms. Good morning. This is Mary with Sisters in the Kitchen. Welcome to our program this morning. We're making Linda's famous Sandy cookies. This is my all-time favorite recipe. And
it's my favorite cookie.
Cookies for Renee's too.
Yeah, I love these cookies.
A lot of people like chocolate. Linda likes chocolate. I like chocolate too, but this is my favorite. And I got this recipe, I tweaked it a little bit over the years, but I got this from an old recipe book that I bought in the 60s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this is a cookie that you can make. You can make right now, and these cookies are going to be delicious Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're looking to make something ahead of time and you want to manage your time, this would be one of the cookies that I would advise you to make. So it's a very simple recipe. We've got, and we'll put this recipe, we'll post it after the show. We've got 2 sticks of softened butter. Make sure it's softened, not melted.
Here, I'll take those and put them in the trash.
I gave this recipe to a lady one time, a young lady, years ago, and she came to work the next day. It was a colleague of mine. And she said, your recipe didn't work. And I said, what do you mean it didn't work? And I said, do you use softened butter? She said, no, I use melted butter.
Oh my goodness, it does make a difference.
She said, I kept adding flour, and it was horrible. So make sure you watch the recipe when you're cooking. If it says soft, that means soft, not melted. So
I make these every Christmas, and I'll put them in one of them Rubbermaid containers and put the lid on them. And you're right, they stay fresh for a long time.
They fresh, and they're so good. And there's some tips to these cookies. And you want
me to go ahead and start doing that?
Yes, they need.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that, Linda. You have to remind me.
They have to be soaked while they're hot.
I'm putting powdered sugar on these cookies that just came out of the oven. This is one that she's mixing up now.
And we've already made a batch and cooked, so we can show y'all the finished product. And I'm going to just have this mixer on just briefly, but I do have to have it on for a little bit.
You put it on here, put this powdered sugar on here when they first come out of the oven, because when they're hot, they soak up the powdered sugar, and that really is what makes these.
That's what
makes hers, Linda's, extra special.
That's what makes them good. You have to work with them. It's a simple recipe, but you have to work with them. So we got 2 sticks of softened butter, and I have this sugar measured out. It's a 1/3 cup of sugar, granulated sugar, and you're just going to add that into your mixing bowl with your softened butter. And then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of water and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Make sure you use real vanilla. You don't want to use artificial. You want to use the good stuff.
You may change your mind and ask me to do this again, because Linda has a special touch with these snowball cookies, because I'm telling you, they're Sandies. Some people call these snowballs.
Some people call them snowballs, some people call them wedding cookies, but to me they're Sandies.
Yeah.
So just keep soaking them here.
Linda has a special touch with these things, because they always have more powdered sugar on them than what normally is, but it's because she does them when they're right out of the oven while they're hot.
Yeah, that's the trick to it. And it's 2 cups of flour. This is all-purpose flour. This is a very, very, just a few ingredients in this recipe. And this recipe is in our cookbook, Mary.
Yeah, it is. I know.
So if y'all are hoping that it's in there,
I'm looking at the page. Is this in here? Oh no, the pages are different. Because,
that's different. That's an old one.
Because different from the number 2.
Now, when you're mixing this up, it may look like the dough's going to be crumbly, but don't fret. It's going to come together. And I can put that little bit of water in there. It gives it a little bit more liquid.
You're going to show them what it looks like when you get it mixed up?
When I get it mixed up, I'm going to show you what it looks like.
You know, Linda, I was thinking, I've been thinking about it. I thought about it a lot of times. when I was going through Mama's book, her story, there was one particular paragraph or story that I just keep thinking about. We didn't tell y'all in the video, but mother said that Molly, her mother, was that Paulie was a Christian man. He loved the Lord and always took his family to church and everything. But they had Paulie, he farmed. He had acres and acres. I don't know how many acres, but probably
it was a 200-acre farm.
Yeah, he had acres.
He didn't farm all of it, but he had 200 acres.
Yeah. So anyway, he had a big corn crop that year. Well, he had every year, but that particular year it was corn, and it was coming. It was a drought, and it hadn't rained in days and days. I didn't go back to look and see, but it hadn't rained in a long time, and he was losing his crop, and he one night he went out in the cornfield. And he said, he told Ma this. He said, I went out in the cornfield and I got on my knees and I asked God to let it rain. It just touches my heart, Linda. It's just so emotional to me. And that night it rained.
Because Paulie was a real stoic person, and you don't think about a man doing that, but he knew that he needed help and he needed that crop for his family, and he knew where to go to ask for help. I think that's amazing that Paul did that.
Yeah. And he said, and Ma said after that, he never missed paying his tithes. He never missed paying tithes on his crops. And he was a more dedicated Christian after that experience that he had in the cornfield. You know, lots of people goes to church, but when you get your personal experience with the Lord, that makes a difference. It changes your life.
It does.
What you gonna show?
So, y'all noticed that I stopped the mixer while Mary was talking, just so it wouldn't be so loud. The mixture looked crumbly. I don't know, you probably didn't see it, but it looked crumbly. So I washed my hands and I just mixed it up with my hands, and it makes it all come together. So this is a very tiny batch. I usually make like eight of these at one time.
I double mine for
sure.
So
this is the dough here. I'm going to put in 2/3. I'm sorry, not 2/3. I'm going to put in a cup of chopped pecans. This is a 1/3 cup measure, so I'm doing 3 of these. So,
I sure do hope I'm doing you right, Linda.
Just keep adding powdered sugar to it.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
So I'm going to mix these all up, and I'm just doing this with my hand. I normally would do it with the mixer, but just because it makes so much noise, I'm just going to mix it with my hands and make sure that the pecans are all mixed in there real good.
And if any of you are wondering why I got on gloves, I got on gloves because I've got band-aids on about 3 of my fingers, and I just this time of the year I got my hands in water so much until they crack.
And I've been doing all that work.
Bizarre. And so I have to put on gloves when I'm baking when I'm using my hands.
Okay, so I'm going to show y'all. This is a very, very, very tiny batch. It's almost comical because I usually have a bowl full. This is your dough here, and it's all together. See, it's not sticking to my hands. And I use a cookie scoop, a 1 tablespoon cookie scoop. If you have a small, medium, large, this is a small. So I have some parchment paper down in my cookie sheets, and I use parchment paper. I use it all the time. If you don't have to use it, I just use it myself. So
I'm gonna make some of these for Christmas, but I'm gonna get Braden over here to help me. I remember mostly it's been Renee and Shelley that's helped me before on doing this, because they've helped me do this before. But I'm gonna get Braden over here to help me do this because I want some of these. These are, like I said, these are my favorite cookies.
oops, I dropped that. I have to pick that up later. Wash my hands again. I
usually do this in a bowl. Is it better to do it on a plate?
I do it on a tray.
On a tray?
Yeah.
I've always put a big bowl of powdered sugar down and put my cookies right in it and just, but I guess this might be better. I still learn things from my sister.
I'm not. Well, you know, we all have our own ways of doing things, and it don't mean that one's right, one's wrong. That's just how I do it. So I'm going to put my dough out on this parchment here. I use a lot of parchment paper. And you'll see that I just cut these sheets to fit the pans. And you can get a whole lot of cookies.
That's the pan you cook these on, isn't it?
Yeah, they cook for 20 minutes at 325. You can get a lot of these cookies on a pan. You can, depending on how big your cookie sheet is, you can get anywhere from 20 to 3 dozen on one cookie pan. I have a big cookie sheets that I use at home.
Oh yeah, Linda. And today, the day we're going to do the drawing
Oh yes, we are. We're doing the birthday drawing today.
for November.
Yeah.
Only November birthdays. You can, if you want to, although you've already posted, if you want to post again, if your birthday's in November,
We don't need your date. We don't need your year. We just need your full name
Yeah.
we need your full name.
Full
because
name,
we'll have to
because-
let you know who
right.
won. So
right.
we don't want to.
Well, the name will be on where it's posted, Linda.
Oh, yes it will.
Just all you have to say is November.
Okay, so see, this is 1 tablespoon. There's different sizes of these cookie scoops. This is a small one, 1 tablespoon. There's a medium, which is 2 tablespoons, and there's a large, which is 3 tablespoons. But you don't want these cookies big, and the reason you don't is we don't like waste, and we have lots of little hands at Christmas time that likes all these little goodies we have, and they'll take a bite of one, and then it gets laid down, and then it goes in the garbage. So we make ours small, so that way they
I like them so. Besides that, that's about all you need at one time. I mean,
they're rich. They're very rich.
But that's okay. I mean, it don't stop me from going back in a few minutes. So I like them.
I am really, once you start eating these, this is going to be a go-to cookie that you want to make. They're not like a store-bought Sandy. These are really delicious. So I've got 4, 8, 16, 20. I've got 24.
How many does that batch make?
This makes 3 dozen.
3 dozen?
And if you're making for a bunch of people, you're going to want at least double this.
Yes.
At least double it. I mean, most of the time, I'll make this like 8 times, this recipe 8 times, and I'll have a huge bowl full of these. These are great for gifts, like for teachers, if you want a gift for a teacher. If you're doing a cookie swap, or you want to take something to a ladies' meeting, or to an office or something, these are great. I will tell you one thing, don't eat them with black or navy blue on. Yeah, it's powdered all over you.
Yeah, you're right about that. Because it will drop on you.
Okay, I've got 24 on this sheet, on this cookie sheet. And I'm just going to barely press down with my hands. You don't want to mash them flat. You just barely press down on them.
And Linda, if they're not using a cookie thing like this, if you're rolling them out, you need to roll them firm because they'll crumble if they're not packed. Isn't that correct? If you just piece that off and it's on here, they have to be rolled. It's like you're packing it in there.
If you wasn't using a cookie scoop, you would roll them in a ball, and I'll show you how to do that. And just do it like this.
Yeah. To kind of pack them together.
And that way, and see, that's more than this cookie scoop, so it's hard for me to do them like that to get them the same size. But
you gonna let us eat one of these?
Yeah, we're gonna taste it.
That's good. I figured you would.
I'm gonna go ahead and scoop the rest of these, and I'll tell you exactly how many I got.
Now, Linda, I've done the best I could over here. And they probably won't be as good as yours, but
as long as you've got them soaked with powdered sugar, they're gonna taste just like mine. It's just you don't want to just cover them one time. I probably say for one recipe, wouldn't you imagine that you're going to use at least 2 cups of powdered sugar?
oh yeah.
And you're going to have a lot of what I did with this is we have these commercial trays that Mary has that on. We use these all the time. But I put a piece of freezer paper down, and I use masking tape to tape it so it don't slide all over the tray. And then I cover the bottom of it with powdered sugar, and so it's got some on the bottom. And then once you take them out of the oven, you cover the top, and then you turn them over, cover the other side, and you just keep doing that. Do it 2 or 3 times until they are just, that powdered sugar just soaks down in them. And
you can't get enough powdered sugar on them if they
no,
you don't do that.
You gotta do it while they're hot.
Yeah.
And I do not re-sift that powdered sugar. I guess you could if you wanted to.
It's got
I
palm
don't.
pieces in it, you know.
It is, but if you re-sifted it, but I don't do that because you know, I know how much I'm gonna use, and I always have a lot of powdered sugar. So not to think that I'm wasting it, but I don't recycle it. Whatever's left, I just throw it away.
Yeah. I'm glad that Linda, our camera lady, is back.
Yes, me too.
So we don't have to keep worrying about trying to see whether we're focused in right or not.
Okay, so I said you get 3 dozen. I got 3 dozen and a little tiny bit on the other one.
Okay, so those is in the oven is ready.
I'm fixing to take these out of the oven. And,
Well, I think I've got these because they already cooled off, so you know they're not going to soak in too much more.
So now these are white cookies, and they're not going to necessarily look like they're done. But if you look at the bottom of them, you're going to see. I'll pick one up in just a second to show you.
They're kind of brown.
Here, would you set the timer for me for 20 minutes?
I sure will.
So, sorry, I'm going to move over here where Mary was and show you. You see the bottom of them is brown. So 20 minutes, don't cook them longer, cook them 20 minutes. And I'm using my little Wilton Turner here. Didn't Bonnie give us these for
Bonnie
Christmas?
gave both of us one for Christmas, and I love them.
And they're so nice because you can scoop a whole bunch of them out at one time.
I love it.
You don't want to touch these because they're hot. So, and we'll let this cool before
You want to let it cool now, or go ahead and put some powdered sugar on?
No, I'm going to let the pan cool. But yeah, we're gonna cover the cookies. I don't want to put. You don't ever want to put cookie dough on a hot cookie sheet because it's going to.
It'll melt them on it.
Yeah, it's going to melt to make them run.
I think we're going to put some more powdered sugar in this.
We have a couple of different kinds that we use these. These just so you just keep turning them. See, the bottoms are, you can tell they hadn't got powdered sugar on them yet. You can use any sifter. I would definitely sift it. I wouldn't just pour it on there out of the bag because some powdered sugar has lumps in it. And I'm a big sifter anyway. So that little cupping, scoop and sift that one of our friends sent us, that's good to use too. And I actually didn't bring that with me today.
I've got mine over there if you need it. Do you need it?
We won't dirty another one, but next time we can use it instead of this. And the one you were using has the sifter's a little finer than this is.
Yeah, it is. I like that fine. Yeah, but I like that when you're doing this. I like that.
I do too. And so these look so good.
Ooh,
and if you'll notice, these were exactly the same size that I put in the oven. So they're a little bigger cookie than what you think they're going to be. Yeah. So don't think, oh, that's too little. You know, I don't want to. I'm going to make mine bigger because if you do, you're going to have a big cookie. So pecan sandies, you want to let them completely cool before you eat them.
It's Renee, isn't it, that loves these things so much.
Renee loves them.
She knows about it. Yeah. Not as much as I do.
Third granddaughter? Your third
Yes,
granddaughter.
yes.
And what I usually do, after I've had these in a bowl, I put them in a big bowl with the lid on them. And once I take them out, I will sprinkle some more powdered sugar on the top.
I do too.
Just to make them look real fluffy and everything. But you can tell these are...
Aren't they pretty?
Yeah, it's a very, very pretty cookie. And
see, you can tell that they're not snow white when they're but they're soaking in that powdered sugar. So those over there, you see how white they are? That's because the powdered sugar is already soaked in
them. Yep. And that's exactly how you want them to look. And these are warm here. The ones that's
they're warm, but they're still soaking up the powdered sugar.
They're still soaking. We got one more pan in the oven, and then we got a partial pan to cook. So, you gonna try one of these, Mary?
Ooh, yeah, I'll try one of them.
These are really good with, if you're a coffee drinker, they're good with coffee. I mean, I guess they are. I don't drink coffee, but
they would be good with coffee. Yeah.
They're really good with sweet milk. I know that.
I never drank coffee until just a few years before Bobby died, my husband, and I don't know what it is. Things that I didn't ever do, but after he died, I guess it made me feel closer to him.
Well, I am 72 and a half years old. I've drank 1 cup of coffee in my entire life. And that's when I was working at Lexington Marriott Resort near at the hotel.
Yeah.
And we were working, the hotel wasn't open, but it had to, switchboard had to be manned.
Yeah.
And we were working 12-hour shifts. And somebody went out and bought everybody that was working that night a big cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And I was too embarrassed to tell them no. So I took the coffee. It took literally me all night long to drink that cup of coffee, and I hated it.
That coffee that I drink is more milk, cream, French vanilla cream, sugar, little
so
sweet.
It's got some taste to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not plain coffee. I can't drink
but
plain
Mike
coffee.
drinks coffee. He loves coffee.
But I like the French vanilla. Okay, so we're gonna taste of it.
So there you have pecan sandies.
Take my gloves off.
We're gonna
I'll just say these in case that you want me to powder do some more. And I'm gonna taste one of these cookies. You gonna eat one of them?
Yeah, I'm gonna eat one. I'm gonna put it over here.
See my lips? I got over the zinc because that powdered sugar. It's delicious, Linda.
I don't want to hold it over the cookies, but
Delicious.
they're full of pecans. And another thing
Delicious.
too, get this out of my mouth.
We're going at the drawing, Linda. We're going to get off and come back on in about 10 minutes while we do our drawing. And
Yes.
what are we giving? I forgot to ask you.
I don't know what we're gonna give. We're gonna have to decide while we're off.
Okay.
So
in the
let's
next
go-
10 minutes, we'll
yeah.
be back live to tell you who won the prize for November.
I want to tell you about anything with pecans or coconut or anything like that. If it's a cake, if it's cookies, the longer they set, meaning
with pecans in it, yes.
the better it's going to be.
Yes, absolutely.
3 days from now, these cookies will taste better than they do right now. And they
Pecan
are
flavor.
really good.
Yeah, it does.
So let us know if you try them. We'll post the recipe after a while. And we'll be back on in just a few minutes to tell you who won the drawing. So thank you.
Thank you for watching. Bye.